they're really not done with comedians. The one with the chicks has got one good comedian in it.
Well, no, they had a number of them. I thought, but yeah, the new ones they've leaned a little more toward the horror storytelling than some of the comedy. But
right, but I mean, Ghostbusters was written for powerhouses from Saturday Night Live in its prime of the 70s or 80s.
Yeah. It definitely was, and it was. But that some of that too is some of the comedy that was originally written in there, like Dan Aykroyd wrote it. I don't know if you ever read the original script.
No.
It's fucking batshit crazy.
Yeah.
Ivan Reitman really, and I love Dan, but Ivan Reitman really deserves most of the credit for writing Ghostbusters.
Well, Dan Aykroyd is batshit crazy.
Yeah.
Motherfucker chases UFOs and Bigfoot and shit.
And that's what I love about him.
Oh, me too.
It's one of the things
But he is batshit crazy.
He is.
And so am I. But
are we rolling or don't know?
We're just recording. Let's just go with the recording because it looks like it's not coming up and it's pissing me off. And
well, we'll screw with it this week, and we'll just do a short episode talking about a few things to get them out of the way and be better prepared later. And so for those listening, we had a problem last week. It looks like it's hitting us this week. So no live audience this week, but we're going to record live anyway because we don't like to edit. So
exactly, and it's going to be like this, and then I'll just go ahead and patch it all up, throw it all in, and post it up to Facebook and to YouTube like I did last time, and also put it on Libsynth and send that out to the streaming services just like last time. Oh man, I'm telling you, one of my workflows that I love doing with AI is after everything's all done and everything's rendered up, I'll also download, because this program allows me to have a full transcript of everything that we say. All right. And so nice. I take that transcript as a file and I dump that over to ChatGTP and I say, okay, now give me a 1-paragraph summary of everything that we talked about, so that I can use it as a promo on the description of the episode. So it does that. And then I tell it, okay, based off of what we talked about, generate the artwork for me. All right. So I get the thumbnail and the widescreen and all the stuff like that artwork all generated for me.
That's awesome.
By AI based off of what we talked about. And it only just takes me a couple minutes to do everything. I love AI.
I've got a question for you, John, though. As much as Daryl talks about AI, and he's always doing it where it's permanently recorded on some form of live stream or something, don't you think he's truly just paying homage to his future masters and selling us out?
If you knew when we used to do the podcast up at the Burrow, he gave him one, bought a T-shirt just because of this. That was like, I for one welcome our inevitable alien or
AI overlords.
Yeah, I mean he very much.
I am unapologetic about it.
Yes.
Have you ever watched the movie Her?
Yeah, I have.
All right, I love the first third of that movie. I hate the last 2/3 of that movie. I love it until they decide to put a romance theme on it. Up until the point where, it's just good interaction, helpful, helping you with your email, all the good stuff like that. That is what I want. All that other crap, that was just Hollywood storytelling.
But here's a question for you, Daryl, and I have an opinion on this, and I'll say my opinion after you answer. But I mean, at what point does AI become sentient?
Okay, you're talking about, well, first off, right now what we have is the AI that we have is basically just large language models, and they are not what we call AGI, all right, which is artificial general intelligence. And what that is that will be the AI that can do all the things, not just what it's solely designed for. It'll be a jack of all trades like humans are. And that'll be the first step towards real AI. But then the next one that people are actually actively working at, not only creating, but there's also groups looking at corralling, is ASI, artificial super intelligence. Because it's pretty much assumed that once the AI becomes, an artificial general intelligence and has the ability to go ahead and perfect its own programming, its capabilities is going to go up not even exponentially, but exponentially.
Yeah.
I feel like fucking Porky
I knew
Pig
where you
there.
were going, but
It's
you're looking to make me
logarithmically. Yeah, it's going to go up like a hockey stick. All right.
Yeah.
And
Here,
so that's
here,
what's going to happen. And the
here's
question is, and that's what some of these groups are actually actively working on. Like one of them was just did their first round of funding, got $1 billion worth of funding, and they're already valued at $5 billion, and they haven't put anything out yet. I was just listening to this the other day. But their whole thing is that they want to make sure that when we get to artificial superintelligence, that it is not used for evil. Like that's one of the things. Like right now, everybody pretty much believes and everybody knows that okay, Chat GTP right now we're on Chat GTP 4.0, right? That's the
right.
latest and greatest one out there. Chat GTP 5 is already done, but OpenAI is not going to release it until after the presidential elections, because they fear that it's going to be so good that bad people are going to go out there like they already did with Taylor Swift and tried to, put together AI stuff saying that Taylor Swift was
Not
all
true.
for Donald Trump. They've already done that, and they fear that with GTP5, it's going to be so good that it's going to fool a lot of people. So they're waiting until after the elections to bring that out.
They don't need AI for the news to lie to us, brother. But
Well, yeah, but that's the thing that general people just because most people get their news from YouTube and things like
That's true.
podcasts anymore.
You heard about the one that was earlier this year. It was up in the one of the New England states, and what happened is that people on the Democratic roll for the Democratic primary got phone calls, robocalls, in Biden's voice, telling them, "Oh, you don't have to worry about voting in the primary. Just hold off and save your votes for the general election. Don't worry about going for the primary." All right. And they tracked it down, and of course it was somebody on the GOP side who had paid somebody else to use the tools out there to generate a facsimile of Biden's voice in order to keep people away from voting. And that was months ago.
Yeah. My opinion on stuff like that, we don't need that person in the government. If somebody is doing some stuff like that,
but it's
no, it was somebody who not in the government, but was doing it on the side of the GOP.
Right. And it's something that you or I could do now. I can get on right now. I mean, you look at how many, I always say, I don't know how Joe Rogan's not suing 1 million people out there with all the advertisements his voice is being used on, where people are acting like it was his podcast or something.
He said it did nothing but make his fans grow.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure of that, but it's just one of those you don't always want to be affiliated with something that's a scam or a bad product or.
Okay, but here's the thing: you got to remember, if you've ever gone back and listened to the original Joe Rogan podcast when he very first started, I have, because working on the road and driving all the time, you listen to a lot of damn podcasts.
Yeah,
his very first advertiser, the person who first put product on his show, Fleshlight.
Yeah. Well, and that might be
was slinging. He was slinging cock, holsters. So,
and that might be what he feels fine with being associated with. Because to be honest, I might rather be associated with Fleshlight than a political party
Trump,
that I don't agree with.
Yep.
Than any of the political parties out there, because I think Bill Hicks said it best when he said that all politicians are lying cocksuckers.
I love Bill Hicks.
We were talking about, well, even the news today, the things I was going to talk about, and there's a ton of video game news and different things, but we got back from doing festival and need a little bit of a break, and then so I hadn't been watching as much, but with all the presidential debate stuff, the upcoming, and now it's happened, Nikocado, avocado stuff, all this nastiness that is continuously out there. And it's like, man, I don't even want to follow the news or watch YouTube or. It's like, man, I'd almost rather sit around and talk AI and 3D printing and even looking up Marvel stuff or, Disney announcements and all those things that we normally follow on a regular. They're all fucking negative. all the time. And
Well,
it just gets old.
Here's one that's a borderline one for you. This is actually one of the news articles I pulled up. It's kind of good, kind of bad, and it's about our dearly recently departed James Earl Jones.
God rest his soul.
All right. He died Monday, age 93. He portrayed many enduring roles. We all know this. I could go through it. Alex Haley from Roots, General Greer in Hunt for Red October, Terrence Mann, Field of Dreams, Mufasa, Lion King. He had something to do in a sci-fi show. I'm not sure what that was.
It was in
But and of course Darth Vader. But here's the thing: in 2022, he licensed his voice to be used to train a model from a Ukrainian company, Respeecher, in Disney Plus's Obi-Wan Kenobi series. Mm-hmm. So he went ahead and said, "All right, you can go ahead and use my voice. I get paid for it, all the good stuff like that for the stuff coming up." And so he went ahead and licensed his voice. Now, it's not absolutely certain from public reports, but if those rights include post-mortem uses, but it appears that it does.
I think Disney's been putting that in all their stuff lately.
But this is the first situation where an actor, while alive, authorized his voice to be used to train a model to perform in his place, and with consent, possibly continue on after death. He is the first one that we have on record doing
now
this.
He's the first one to have done it and passed, right? Because Mark Hamill did that for Mando season 2.
Yeah, and passed. That's the point.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Now, but the thing is that he knew, because this was 2 years ago when he was 91. He knew he only had so much time left. So this was one of those things where you can continue to use my voice, and the proceeds go to my estate.
That's fucking smart.
Which is smart, because then all they would, really, Darth Vader's voice is one of those things they could imitate in a slightly different way and go, oh, the cadence is a little different or whatever is different. And within time, people would just accept it. And, we all watch knockoff YouTube movies and stuff with Darth Vader's voice, and we're like, that's close enough. Hell, we watched Chad Vader. Close enough, right?
Close enough. Rick and Morty.
Yeah. Yeah.
Did you guys see what Mark Hamill posted on TikTok about
James Earl Jones?
James Earl Jones?
I did not.
No.
2 words. R.I.P. Dad. That was kind of cool.
Yeah. Gabe was telling me about it.
Acronym or an abbreviation? That's an abbreviation. Okay, yeah.
R.I.P. is an abbreviation.
Yeah. R.I.P. is an abbreviation. NASA is an acronym.
Well,
okay, sorry.
I was just going to say, with Gabe and them talking about it, was nice to see, like, James Earl Jones is a legend from our day.
Oh, yeah.
Darth Vader and Conan and all that stuff. It's just...
Oh, God, they didn't even have Conan on there. I've completely forgot about that.
To see... you think, oh, this new generation just knows him from Big Bang Theory and shit.
Oh, yeah.
And to see them appreciate who he is and what he's done.
Yeah.
It's kind of nice. It's nice to see, because it's one of those positives with all the negative.
He'll always truly be a legend. I mean,
what's the first movie you remember seeing him in?
Conan.
Not that you remember seeing him in, because my first one I remember seeing him in, was, of course, Conan. But what's the oldest first appearance that you've seen him in?
Oh, geez. So the youngest he was in a movie.
Boy, that's a good question.
I've got mine lined up. Let me know when you're ready.
I do not know.
I don't either. Conan is the first thing that comes to my mind.
My first exposure would have obviously been Star Wars.
Same here. That was my first exposure, but the youngest I've seen him, Dr. Strangelove.
He isn't Dr. Strangelove?
He was the guy below decks, like the bombardier guy that was below decks that sticks his head up, and talks to the pilot and them, Slim Pickens. That was James Earl Jones.
Oh, no shit.
No shit.
It was the one where Slim Pickens rides a fucking bomb out of the plane, right?
Yeah.
Talking about that this week, saying I got to watch that movie again. I don't think I've seen it since I was a kid, and it's on all these great.
Peter Sellers plays, like, was it 3 or 4 parts in it? Because he plays Dr. Strangelove, he plays the president, and he plays that RAF lieutenant.
Peter Sellers is another one of those people that doesn't get quite the love that they deserve, I think.
Does your dog bite?
He was overshadowed by the Pink Panther.
Yeah.
kind of like Rowan Atkins and Mr. Bean.
100%. But just like that too, they've had 3 or 4 people, I think 4 people now play Clouseau, and nobody can quite pull it off. Like
not even Steve
Martin
Martin
did a great job. Still,
but he'll never be. No,
huh?
I said, yeah, he'll never be. No,
Yeah,
I mean,
just
and
not the same.
it's like Rowan Atkins. I mean, this is the thing that surprised me is everybody knows him as Mr. Bean, but there are remarkably few Mr. Bean episodes.
Yeah, well, but the Mr. Bean was also used in tons of advertisement. There was the cartoon, there was merchandising.
You know that
I know.
guy
I mean, my first experience to him was the Black Adder.
That was my first
Blackadder,
exposure.
yeah, for sure.
Blackadder season 3 was my first exposure to. So right at the perfect, like to me,
the pinnacle.
That's the best of.
That's like having your favorite Dr. Brown.
Yes, yeah, Dr.
Yeah.
Brown.
Yeah, Dr. Brown.
Yeah,
Great Scott.
Yeah, and in fairness, Mr. Bean was one of my favorite Doctor Who doctors too. It was just the, the charity event.
That humorous one that they did, that was really good.
Man, it was like, why the fuck isn't he playing Doctor more often? So,
but anyways, I wanted to talk some 3D printing with you.
Yeah, we should actually. We were just talking like.
Geekgasms, really quick, Geekgasms.
It's just old guys talking at this point, but yeah, we got actually news to cover this week. So, if you got a Geekgasm,
go ahead, you guys first, because my Geekgasm involves 3D printing.
Well, okay, my
it'll segue.
Was very simple, but I'll kind of mention last week's. I finally got to watch Furiosa this week, and I got to watch that and Borderlands this week, and we'll talk about Borderlands later. Furiosa, I really enjoyed.
Until it petered out a little at the end for me.
There was some issues. There's a lot. To me, it's the the pseudo Mad Max. It's they had 3 different people that were Mad Max placeholders in that movie.
The stereotype of Mad Max.
So,
but then they also had the Max silhouette on the
which could have been actually Max. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's like, what the fuck? You can't do that.
And then they don't tell you anything.
Yeah. They just show her being dragged, and then she's with all the fucking.
Now, I got a question for you, because one of the things, if you remember when we watched the trailer together on here, the thing that immediately, made me go, what the fuck? Was when they were showing her as a child, they were calling her Furiosa then.
That bothered me too. That's just her name.
And it bothered, and I pointed it out to you, and you were like, "Oh yeah, that's right."
Yeah,
why the fuck? That's an earned name. That is an earned name. All right.
The simple
fact get that name till she started driving, right?
The simple fact they shouldn't, like, other people start calling her that name that shouldn't know that name, nor has she ever told them that name. I mean, there's a couple things in the movie. I don't want to give away too much. I mean, it can be spoilerific at this point, but one is like they ignore the lore of the comics, which is fine. I'm fine with that. It was supposed to be canon, but I can see why they ignore it.
In my belief, when it comes to the Mad Max movies, movie trumps comic books when it comes to canon.
Agreed. And one thing they did at the end of the movie is they left it open with ambiguous storytelling, kind of like how the Mad Max movie universe has become, where everything's just possibly a campfire story told about Max.
That saved the ending for me.
And
that is, but you got to remember, because I recently just the other day, went through Mad Max 2 really quick. Road Warrior. That's how it ends.
Huh?
It ends with the voiceover, the narration,
right? The storytelling.
And apparently, it's all being told from the point of view of the feral kid. Yeah.
Yep. So you've heard I think we talked about it on here, but you've heard the theory of where the new Mad Max, the Fury Road, that's not Max, that's Feral Boy. That's why he has the music box, everything. That this is actually years later, which would make sense, but this is Feral Boy grown up years later, and he is emulating his hero Mad Max. That's why
that's a cool theory.
I don't like that, because the way that the Feral Boy was talking, all right, at the end of Mad Max 2, he became the leader of that group that left with the petroleum.
Yeah,
Right.
But you don't know for how long or at what point in his life that happened.
You sound like old man.
Huh?
He sounded old man.
Yeah, and this would have been after his adventures on the wasteland, coming back
And
narrating the story.
but here's the thing: is that he actually refers to the gyro guy as, they only refer to him as Gyro Captain at the end.
Right.
All right.
Which
So how does he come
into
to Beyond
Thunderdome?
Thunderdome? Yeah.
I don't know that that's the same character, the same person. It's the same actor, but I don't know.
So Thunderdome would be, in this theory of this storyline, Thunderdome would still be the original Max. Okay.
Oh God, we're like a bad episode of Big Bang Theory here.
No, because our shit's actually kind of accurate.
Okay.
Yeah, no throwing a little shade at Big Bang, but damn it, there's some episodes.
Well, they may be inaccurate, but they just shitload more money than we do.
That's right.
Yeah, they do.
No, in that theory, the Mad Max Beyond Thunderdome would still be Max. Feral Boy we wouldn't see again till Fury Road. And there, you can look up some YouTube videos on it. There's a lot of good stuff on it. I don't necessarily go with that theory. I go with the campfire theory.
No, okay. I've got a tie in here. He could be the same guy. Gyro Captain could be the same guy in both 2 and 3, and because he goes off.
Well, it's a different guy supposedly, same actor, different guy. But go ahead. Sorry.
He goes off. All right, and then at the end of 3, he's got this whole batch of kids that he's loaded into the crop dusting plane, whatever plane that was. All right, and he flies. And where's he going to take him to? But the one safe place that he knows, where he left the other people from the second movie.
And remember, in the second movie, all those people that had the refinery, they all wore white, right?
It was very 70s. Yeah, it was very Logan's Run.
In number 3, the airplane pilot guy, he wore white and tan stuff.
Yeah,
so
it was
he may have
grungy
come
white
from that society to be where he was at, and I've heard that. But then most of the things I've heard is it's just the same actor, not the same guy.
Right. That's supposedly how the lore goes with it. But I think a lot of that was because they reused same actors multiple times. I mean, Toe Cutter, the bad guy from the first movie, is Mortis Joe from Fury Road. Same actor, different.
Maybe as they're telling the story around the campfire, they're using the same people from the village to play the different parts.
See, that could be. And that's one reason with the campfire theory I like it, because then it kind of explains away the different actors and the different times. Because Max, like in Beyond Thunderdome, is supposed to be fairly older, like late 50s. But the two things I was going to mention that really kind of get me with the movie would be just like they talked before, Joe has like some infatuation with Furiosa, so he negotiates almost war just to get her, because she's going to end up being a bride. And they say this in the movie, and as soon as that happens, like he's really ready to go to war for him and the organic mechanic. And then years later, as she's living there, it's like they just forget she's there. Like she even pretends to be a dude for a little bit, and they're like they just forget she was going to marry Joe, and Joe had any kind of infatuation with her, and Joe even sees her later, and they have a relationship, basically, not like intimate, just like talking and stuff, and all that's forgotten about. They just blow it up.
And speaking of discrepancies here, if you remember in Beyond Thunderdome, all the kids that he rescues, all right, or that get rescued, they were all the survivors of an airplane crash.
Correct.
Of an airliner crash, where the captain, it was so close to the fall, the captain was still wearing the normal airline pilot hat. So it couldn't have been that much further on, because those kids were only like at the most 16.
Well, this also brings me to, why the storytelling works, but to the other part of Furiosa that drives me insane. So if this is Max, like they're saying in Fury Road, we look at Furiosa, who's probably in her mid 30s or so.
Keep in mind, and this is something that we have to keep in mind, is that in conditions like that, people age a lot faster.
Right.
If you look at pictures of people from just the Dust Bowl, right, 20-year-olds were looking 40.
Right.
Okay, go
now,
ahead.
even just giving though timeline of things that happened to her, I mean, you'd be looking about mid-30s.
Right.
I even felt maybe I was being generous there, but so then we follow her from being a little kid, probably about 9 or so, and we follow her clear up until the beginning of Fury Road. So let's say beginning of Fury Road is 10, 15 years in that time. So she would have been in her mid-20s during Fury Road, let's say. Timelines don't add up because the Max, we watched the first movie, and that's when the fall has just kind of been kicking in. And then we watched the progression. Well, if you go back to when she was 9 years old, they've already got Gas Town, Bullet Town, all that stuff's established. They got societies. The fucking war boys are running the desert. I mean,
They have
all that shit's already established.
They have spin-off societies from the societies that got established.
Yes, all that's already established. So really, that shit that should have been happening 20 years after the fall,
if not further.
Instead, they're taking us about to when the fall happened, and they've already got these established. Like the timeline does not match up,
Right?
And they've got to find a way to talk their way out of that.
We're trying to make a Star Trek level continuity occur on basically like we've been saying, campfire stories.
Yeah, well, that's if they are campfire stories. I think they need to just come out and say that's what they are or something. Because really all you're trying to do is establish the time, like a basic timeline. Because what you got is the fall happened, shit went bad, they started new civilizations, and that shit spawned off. That's kind of what we have. Okay. And instead they just like wadded it in a ball and said, there you go.
I want to say that the fall happened in the first one. Second one, no more than 10 years after the fall, because dog food was still good in the can. Okay. All right. Third one happened not long after that, because the kids, they're aging. Their ages and stuff like that, coming in from an airliner crash. All right. Right. So I say the first 3 movies occur in a 12 to 15 year time span max.
I would go maybe, because there were some 16-year-old kids there, and I don't think that they started popping kids out the same day they wrecked the plane.
But here's the thing.
So you gotta have at least 9 months. And
those kids are going to Blue Lagoon that shit up.
Yeah. After the kids get born, yeah. But the regular people, they're in a survival situation. They're trying to make things happen. They don't want to get pregnant. So they're going to maybe wait a year or 2 before they start having kids, and then it's going to take 9 months. So you got 2 to 3 years there past the established 16-year-old age of some of the children. So could be 20 years.
And here's the thing. That first one, all right, that's when the fall begins. All right.
In the real
and that's in the periphery, all right. There's still going to be a higher level of civilization in some areas, right, which may give us an extra 5 to 7 years when we could have an airline flight. All right. Because, it's first going to devolve to city states. And how are you going to get from one city state to another city state across the Badlands? All right. Yep. You're going to fly.
Although, but the amount of fuel that takes, I could see people using trains. It's much more efficient.
Well, and the thing is, they may have been we don't know that scenario. They may have been put in a scenario where they're like, fuck the fuel. I don't care. We got to get, and so if it's loaded.
It could have been the last helicopter out of Saigon, man.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah.
Well, I didn't want to get too much on Mad Max because we could talk an hour on Mad Max. I just want to mention
we have gone in the weeds. I love it.
So that was good. And then my geekgasm last week, I was talking my Terror Dog head. I mentioned this to you briefly. I sanded it, bondoed it. I don't have the horns on it. For those listening, you can't see this, of course. I took it out to give it the first coat of primer so I could resand. And you can kind of see on the right, all the seams broke loose. There's 23 pieces holding it together. I don't know if it was the heat, if it was the extra sanding I was doing on it. I used this JB Weld epoxy, this high dollar stuff everybody says is great to use. I would tack little bits of it together with super glue just to make sure the corners held. And then I did do 2 big sheets of construction adhesive, Liquid Nails construction adhesive, which everybody says works. Does not. Liquid Nails construction adhesive sucks for PLA.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm having to re-glue the whole thing and re-sand it and re-bondo it now, and I'm a little frustrated. So
I would personally either use a straight 2-part epoxy, no screwing around, 2-part epoxy,
that's what the
or
GB Weld is. Yeah,
I would get some auto spot putty.
that's what I use. Yeah.
Yeah.
or there's some stuff out there that I hear is just the bee's knees when it comes to gluing PLA together. It's called 3D goop.
Okay, I've seen
3
Goop. Yeah.
3 Delta goop. And you can't really get it on Amazon. You got to get it from some other places. But from what I understand, that is the shit when it comes to gluing PLA together.
I'll look that up. The main one I keep hearing is the Gorilla Glue epoxy, but this JB Weld I hear works just as well. And
Yeah.
I don't have it handy, but it's the 2-part epoxy, and they're big ketchup size bottles that I use.
And they're liquid?
They're liquid.
Okay,
And
it's not the old school JB Weld where you
no,
got
it's
the
not the
2
creamy
colored
yeah.
gums and you put
This
them
is,
together like Mission Impossible. Yeah.
Well, and I know it's not going to do any good for anybody listening to the podcast, but I was going to try to grab it. Oh, I must have it outside where I was working.
All right.
But yeah, it's a liquid, and it works well. It sets in 5 minutes, but it takes about 24 hours to cure. And
Right.
And there's parts of it that worked real well and parts of it didn't. And I don't know if I'm having to glue the edges maybe a little bit more because I've never done a print quite this big before.
See,
and I'm fixing to do a couple more. So
when it comes to doing my little models, there's some putties and stuff like that. Like there's one that I tried using. It's a Vallejo plastic putty. All right. That everybody, that just, oh, this is the greatest stuff. It's got bits of marble in it. All right. It's sandable and all this shit like that. And I've tried so many times to use it, and it is utter ass. It never hardens. All right. And you try to sand it, and it just completely peels up like it's a thing, like it's just one big piece of frickin' latex. It just peels right up. And I found the only way that I can use it is on very, very fine cracks. It's got a really tight, I mean, the only bonus to it is it's got a very, very small applicator. So I just squeeze it into those cracks, and then I use a Q-tip with some, just a moistened Q-tip, and take off any excess that is not in that crack. And that's the only thing it's good for. If there's any kind of actual gap of any discernible distance, complete worthless piece of shit.
Is it sandable?
No, I've tried sanding it. It's not good. And so instead I use the Tamiya putty, and that stuff sets up like, freaking plaster. That's some good shit right there.
You know what I used to use on models that I don't know if it'll work on that since it's some weird form of plastic, but I used to use super glue and baking soda and super glue and sifted wood ash.
Yeah.
I mean, it's hard as a fucking rock.
What I use is called, what is it? Sprue goo.
Sprue goo I've used.
Sprue goo, yeah.
Where you make it yourself?
Applicator on it, isn't that?
No. This is what you make yourself. What you do?
Yeah.
Just for the people listening, is you have your bottle of Tamiya extra thin, normal glue, and then once it gets kind of low, and you're like, oh, I'm going to get me another bottle. You go ahead and take all those extra sprues that you got laying around, cut them into little pieces, and then you put it in there. And let it all dissolve, and so it's got the Tamiya the cement in there, and then the dissolved sprue stuff, and then you paint that down. And when the volatile organic chemicals boil off like it normally does in the standard cement, it leaves actual sprue stuff. So what you're filling it with is, you're basically filling it with itself because of that polystyrene. That's all that's left over.
I use a lot of spot bondo, but I've been doing that with a lot of my sanding dust.
Yeah.
That I've been sanding off, and I've been taking that and mixing it with super glue and mixing it in there for filling some gaps.
Yeah, that's some good stuff.
It strands nice and smooth then, and I'm trying to get that smooth areas.
And once it sets up, it's hard. It's just like, it's like the actual product itself that you're dealing with. And so it'll paint just the same. It'll sand just the same. It is just the same.
So do you guys have geekasms this week?
Yeah. Did you have one, Cookie?
Well, I did, but I can't talk about it.
Okay.
No,
actually,
geekgasm, not the other kind.
Yeah, no.
The word geek comes from geek means something different.
Yeah.
It usually involves a ball gag and a whole leather outfit, but yeah.
Yeah, he used the whole chicken. I got you.
And a big bucket of dippity doo, bro.
It was a vat of ranch dressing, 3 midgets, and a donkey. Let me see. All right, my geekgasm today, 3D printing is my new printer came in.
Ooh,
today.
yes.
It was waiting for me at the door. The new Anycubic Cobra 3 combo with the 4 different filament automatic material system, and but I have made a vow that I shall not unpack it and use it until I can get that area there cleaned out and turned into a ventilation area, move the resin printer over there so it's properly vented, then I can set it up over there. But I could not. Go ahead.
So you're not properly vented now?
Well, I kind of am. What I've done is, as I've told you,
I was going to say, you keep telling me vent. So I want to point a finger.
I know, but I actually want to put it under a vent hood. Oh, you know, have a nice vent hood. That way, also, if we want to get a laser engraver, we can have that and run it in the house, because then it will be properly ventilated.
You know, I do have a portable vent hood that runs everything through filters that does not exit to the outside of the house. If you're interested,
I'll take a look at it.
It's like 3 foot by 2 foot, though. It's good size.
I'll take a look at it. It might be something I can utilize. Because like my little paint booth that I have here has got multiple filters that I run through, but it also has a vent out the back that I can tie into my ventilation system if I want to.
Right.
But anyways, that's part of the geekgasm. So anyways, you know that site that I've sent you to before for that has the really excellent prints called Gambody? Yeah. All right. Well, I was downloading it because, you know, it's me, and they recently came out with a model for a 1/350 scale Enterprise, the original Romulan bird of prey from the original Enterprise. You know, the one with the bird underneath and stuff.
The stuff I like looking at. Yeah, this is what we were talking about with the model kit last week. Yeah.
Hold on. Let me see here. Yeah, it's my nostrils. They're great nostrils. Hold on. This one that I'm painting right now and doing up. Oh, whoa! There we go.
We're talking about how models like that anymore. People, a lot of that old school stuff you don't always find. You gotta
right. And so Gambody has come up with it has the model that you can download. So I was downloading the model. All right, I bought it, the files, and I was downloading the model, and I noticed as it has this thing here where, you know, you can click and say, okay, you know, after I bought it, you can download all the files either in filament or in resin, because it's 2 different sizes and stuff. But next to it, it had a thing that said, have it printed for you.
I've seen some of those. Yeah.
All right. So I was like, I've never clicked on this button. Let me click on this button. So I clicked on it, and it took me to another site and pre-populated all the files, like all 60 or 70 files populated, and it ran it through. Let me see here. And the name, because I was talking to somebody about it. It's called Treat Stock, TREATSTOCK. All right, so I went there and I put, you know, and I told it I want it printed in PLA. How much will this run? And it gave me a list of, like, you know, 4 pages of, like, you know, 7 or 8 different places. And these are just different people out there that will print those off for me. And it's basically, they've put in the parameters. This is how much I'm charging for so much print and stuff like that. Right. And so it throws all the formulas in, and the 4-page listing of people or businesses that would print it in PLA, ranging from $135 to print it to $1,000 to print it off.
I was wondering what those prices. What? I was literally looking at some of these this week because I almost went to Fiverr.
That Reliant that I made, that I have yet to put together because I'm a lazy bitch, but that Reliant that I made that took me 5 rolls of filament, all right, for me to print off.
Crap.
All right. There was only one listed that would print that off, because they, you know, put it in and it went through the formula. Only one listed that would print that off. $5,000.
Do you really think that there's people who pay that to have that stuff printed off?
There's people who pay
Yes.
for a lot of weird shit.
Holy
Yes.
shit, we are in the
So
wrong business.
I went
boy.
through all the files that I have, that I have purchased there, because you can only click that button if you purchase the files.
Okay.
All right. So the Romulan bird of prey was $135 to $1,000. That was the price range. The Reliant, only one, $5,000. The Planet Express ship, because I had to buy that file. I did.
Yeah,
This
I
is
actually
this
was
is the
looking
nose
at
of it.
the Planet Express ship the other day.
Yeah, this is the nose of it. I just did it, just really quick to see
Okay,
how well
so
it would
you're
print.
looking at about 1.5 foot or a foot long model when it's said and
Yeah,
done.
yeah, it's probably about 18 inches or so.
Yeah.
That's
Two
the first
bidders
time
on
you
that
can say
one.
that.
Two bidders on that one. One $422. The other one
Oh.
$1,235.
Well, here's the next question: how do you become one of the people that print that shit?
Hold on.
Let them send orders my way.
Hold on. TOS Enterprise, two bidders, $825 and $2,418 to print off. That's just printing them off. That's not assembly. That's none of that. That's just printing it off, packaging it up, sending it out.
Holy moly!
All right. And the last file that I purchased from there is the Orville, and that one is close to 3 foot long. All right. Two bidders once again, $635 and $1,858. And on that site, it has a little button up at the top that you can click on that says "Start a Business." You enter in your information, and you can be one of those people that automatically pop up in the bid when people are looking for people to print these off.
Now,
So I wanted to bring that up. The simple fact that, our printers that we have are the Ender 3 V3 SE. They cost about $180,
with the exception of the one you bought today.
Well, yeah, that's a different one. I'm talking the one that you and I have.
Right.
All right. I've only done one. What do you call it when somebody hires you to print something? Commission. Thank you. I've only done one commission print, which was those nose cones. All right. And after the cost of the PLA and after the cost of having a model designer person for 3D modeling create the object for me, I still netted $100. So in one commission, I made half of what my setup cost.
See, I need to do some of that. Like I'll print stuff. Like I did one for a guy last week. There's a cane off of the Has Been Hotel. It's a working cane. I charged him $10 because it cost me $8 to make. So but I painted it and everything because it was fun and it was neat.
Yeah, no, you way undercharged on that.
That was for a friend too. But I've done a couple of them like that. It's hard when you can just print it, walk away, and
I know, but see but that's my point here is the fact that, like, okay, the one friend that I have who also does all the 3D printing with me, I know that
the only friend.
What are we? What the fuck are we doing?
No, he's the one doing this for money. You're not doing it for money.
So yeah, we don't make money doing this, so we ain't shit.
With his combo that he got just a couple weeks ago, I went over and helped him set up. All right, his combo printer, he started printing off what was it, sports coasters. All right, like Chiefs and Dolphins and stuff like that. And then he went ahead and did some extra stuff where he did some resin in it, but 4-color coasters. A couple of those printed off, a couple batches of those printed off. He's already paid for all of his printer, all $400 of it paid for, plus other stuff. Done.
I should be doing it because I'm watching some of the stuff that I see out there too. And it's like, man, not many people are actually putting the stuff together and painting it. They're just doing quick and easy one hit prints, not multiple pieces.
It sounds like you can make almost as much money just printing it as you can printing it, assembling it, and painting it.
Yeah, but the fun's in assembling and painting.
I know.
But here's the thing: is while you're assembling and painting, you can have another thing printing off for you just to sell away.
And that's pretty much what I do all the time. Is as I'm working on stuff, I'll have stuff printing. My big thing right now is learning how to design them. Like this week, I spent time trying to design a ship's mast, a figurehead for the pirate ship out there, and trying to scale it up. Well, man, it's hard.
That site I just told you about, you don't even have to do that shit. They send you the file to print.
Yeah, well, and that's why I thought about going to Fiverr, but I ain't paying that kind of money. I will figure it out on my own. So,
No, well, Fiverr, I can get it. Like those nose cones that I had done. It's $20.
yeah.
All right. I got an idea for something else. I'll tell you about after we get off here because I don't want nobody to take my damn idea.
But I
But
should probably rapid fire some of this news because we're almost in.
Okay, the only other thing I had was AI related. It was just a quick one. It has to do with sports.
Sports.
Yeah, Amazon will show viewers of Thursday night NFL games this season some new features, alerts driven by predictive algorithms. Last season, Amazon had alerts that identified the movements of defensive players prior to the start of play in order to predict who might make a run at the quarterback. This season, Amazon is adding pressure alerts, which will try to predict based on position what defensive players are likely to do to both in backfield and on the line. Then there's coverage ID, which will try to identify defensive formations in real time before the play starts. Amazon has partnered with the NFL to collect more than 500 million data points each season, then uses these to train models, and then uses computer visions to interpret what's happening on the field in real time and to give those alerts up so those people at home watching, if they want to, they can turn on those alerts and they can be, because, me, I'm not so much a sports guy. And I can tell, I can tell if something big happens because that ball moved or some shit. I don't know. All right. But there's, he threw in the I formation while doing a hippity hop. What the hell? All right. And this would be helpful for people who are not like the true armchair quarterbacks.
Well, but couldn't this really put a damper on online betting on games?
No, because it's real time. It's not predictive. I mean, you would have to.
But there's got to be somebody out there who's going to twist that around.
I don't know. It feels like it would take a little of the excitement out of it.
Well, that's the reason you turn it off.
Yeah. I mean, to me, that idea all of a sudden of fucking something happening, and if it's like, yeah, everybody. I mean, even the fucking AI thing said it was going to happen, or it just. I don't know. It feels like it would pull a little of the fun out of the game for me.
I don't know. To me, it would be more informative as to what the hell is actually going on. Because
I can see that being real helpful. I mean, I like sports. I'm not going to fit in that geek stereotype. I actually enjoy watching football.
And extra technology is great. When they made the glowing hockey puck, I fucking loved it.
Yeah.
It turns out they talked about that. They talked about the glowing hockey puck, and it turns out the reason that they got rid of that is because you didn't need the glowing hockey puck once you went to high definition TV and you could actually see the damn puck.
Yeah, true. Yeah,
I can see that.
Yeah, that glowing hockey puck ended when CRTs ended.
Well, it's been a long time, bro.
Yeah, we're old.
And I kept wondering why I never saw it at the Wichita Wind live games, too.
I look on the screen and I see you too, and I'm happy I've had my prostate checked. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
I'm going to rapid fire these news articles because a lot of them, I know they've released some more Deadpool deleted stuff, but I'm going to wait, and I think we'll just do one whole episode covering a bunch of it all at once because they're leaking it out little by little, and there's no sense talking about it until the DVD release, really, to be honest, because there's just so much.
I realize it's their one bright spot in all the crap that they've put out, but they're really doing to this Deadpool movie what they did to Bobby McFerrin's "Don't Worry, Be Happy," and they're beating it into the fucking ground.
I'm feeling that way a little bit. I love it. I love what they did, but even some of the Easter eggs, and some of them I love. Like I watched a thing today on all the trains, planes, and automobile Easter eggs in there, which to me is cool because I like John Candy and Steve Martin, and that was a great movie. But it has nothing to do with any of the movie. It just, you watch it and it's like neat. No, that's in the background. There's the car. There's the whatever. And it's not like, oh, look, Dr. Doom was there the whole time or something like that. You know.
Yeah, I mean it's they're not doing it like a Sixth Sense kind of surprise ending kind of
Yeah,
thing.
like a
They're
twist.
doing it more like Ready Player One, seeing how much shit they can shove in the background.
That's exactly
Which
it.
fucking rock. There's nothing wrong with that.
It did rock, but that was it. That was set in a reality where everything was pandering to nostalgia.
Right.
Yeah.
All right. That's what that virtual reality they had. They didn't have it so much once in the scenes that were not in the Oasis. Yeah, they didn't
The
have all that shit.
older I get, the more I love being the nostalgia gets pandered to, because it reminds me of when some of this shit used to be magical to me.
See,
I like it to a point. They can overdo it. Star Wars has overdone it some.
and
But
that's one of my things is, I didn't really have a good childhood, and I really don't like being reminded of the 80s. To me, I do not understand why anybody wants to nostalgize the 80s. I think it was a horrible decade, and it can go away.
say, and I get your perspective on that. I like the 80s references. Like I just watched
Me
Lisa
too.
Frankenstein, and that takes place in the 80s, and the whole time I'm like, I like that they didn't overdo, where everybody's wearing neon and roller skates and Barbie bullshit, and to
See,
me, I dig that. But
that's one thing that they got right on Stranger
Stranger
Things,
Things,
is the simple fact that it's set in the 80s, but everybody's house looks like it was decorated in the 60s and 70s,
right?
as
Yeah,
it should.
that was a huge ET influence on that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. But the simple fact is that I don't remember all that neon crap when I was in the 80s. I just remember a lot of people smoking.
Oh,
All
I
right.
do. When you went to the mall, I remember all that neon shit.
Yeah.
We didn't have a mall anywhere around. Like I said, it sucked.
When I went to high school, if you had a signed note from your parents, you could go outside and take a cigarette break at main break.
We didn't need a sign note. We just had the smoking area.
Yeah, we had a smoking area. I mean, you could be 16, you know?
14-year-olds were out there smoking, dude.
Yeah.
I'm gonna hit through these real quick because
All right.
we're gonna try to watch a Minecraft trailer, which is only about 2 minutes, so we could probably
I
get
got
that.
it loaded, so let me know when.
If you guys saw the Nikocado avocado reveal, I don't know if you guys know who that is.
No.
He's
Yes.
the biggest mukbang eater on YouTube. He's a huge
you told me
YouTube
about
celebrity.
that. Yeah, we talked about that.
He was up around 400 pounds. He's hard to watch sometimes. Apparently, he had been just releasing videos that he had pre-recorded for the last 2 years, so everybody just thought he was still doing shit normal. And then he did this big reveal, this big villain-esque reveal of total personality change, all sorts of stuff. But he is down to like 140 pounds or something ridiculous.
Shit, I'd be dead if I would drop down to 140.
And everybody's talking that this is our Darth Vader moment for this generation. This is the I am your father moment, is what everybody keeps saying.
No,
this is the reveal? No.
This is the big reveal, supposedly. I'm not on board with that.
No, the big reveal for villain hood is Amber Heard.
Yeah.
I knew she was a villain the whole time. Sorry.
Yeah, you kind of got that feeling. Every time you saw her, you smelled ozone. I understand that. All right. And then when it turns out that she's shitting on people's beds, you're like, oh, okay.
Yeah, you are a creepy bitch. I mean, I just thought so, but now I know so.
Yeah.
They did say, though, that the guy, I mean, he's got to be brilliant because this whole time, the last 2 years, he hasn't been making videos. He's been putting out videos and still making money off of them.
Mm-hmm.
So he's still been bringing in income. He put out this video, and within 2 days, they figure he's already made $100,000 to $130,000 just off of that one video in 2 days.
Oh, and now everybody's going to go back and rewatch his old shit.
Oh, yeah.
Because everybody's already going through trying to find calendars in the background and whatever they're doing.
He hasn't even released his workout plan yet.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's going to make tons of money.
Utter fucking genius, really.
Really, I don't like watching his shit because he's so hard to watch, but man, I gotta give the guy kudos.
It's like it's like people are shitting on that Haley is her name, the Haktui girl.
Oh yeah, because she got her podcast launched and
she's got like $1 million contract and all this stuff like that. I am sorry, she brought a country together at a time of dissent and she's earned every damn penny. And this
Well, and
guy,
let her capitalize on that 15
Yeah.
minutes of fame. There's no, everybody goes, if that happened to me, I'd do this, this, and this. She's doing it. And people go, well, that's cheesy. But like that, look at that poor backpack kid, the one that invented the floss dance.
yeah,
Okay, you know, he got on with Katy Perry, is on SNL. They put his dance on fucking Fortnite, all that. The kid goes out and he tries to go, hey, I'm a musician and I'd like to play my music. Nobody fucking, like, he's getting kicked off podcasts, all sorts of shit. Because no, just dance, monkey dance. That's your 15 minutes. Do that. And it's like,
yeah.
poor guy tried to use his 15 minutes to excel his career. Nobody having it. Why the fuck not? You know, it's not like, oh, you're only good for one thing, and that's dancing when I say. I hate that.
Yeah, yeah, I agree, and that's the thing is, like when it comes to this, mukbang dude, he's doing it brilliantly. I mean, his content is not something that I would watch
Agreed.
or even care about.
Even his interviews, I don't like.
Yeah, no, but you know
But
what?
his marketing skills are brilliant.
He's one hell of a performer and one hell of a business person. I'll give him that.
Yeah. I do have a small geekgasm that I did this week. I watched some AI generated Thundar the Barbarian trailers. When are they going to make a Thundar movie?
They're probably not, but
God, they need to.
There's some Hanna-Barbera licensing rights with that were an issue. We actually interviewed the guy, the lead animator for this on podcast here, that was the lead animator for Thundar years ago.
Fuck.
And because I was like, Thundar, and he's like, good luck, you know. But yeah, it was. He actually was a good interview. He was a fun guy.
See, that's like, it's like for me, everybody, always talks about, like Amazon and stuff like that. They're looking for their Game of Thrones. They tried it with Wheel of Time and they fucked that up heavy. All right. I am waiting. And in my opinion, the one that they need to make, and I've said this time and time again, the one that they need to take the literature and turn it into a serialized production is Anne McCaffrey, The Dragon Riders of Pern.
No, Dragonlance. Tracy Hickman and Margaret Weiss.
That's good, but it's not as world built as Dragon Riders of Pern.
I think Necroscope, if you know that series, Brian Ludlam. Is that right? Am I saying that right?
I can't remember.
Great. It's a vampire series, though, and vampires are now... But it's vampires done like we would do vampires. Like real fucking monstrous, like they're a race. There's none of this lovey-dovey, can't see shit in mirrors thing. It's... I wouldn't possibly do the series justice trying to explain it now.
Do you know why they can't see themselves in mirrors?
Huh.
I mean, seriously, do you know the lore behind that?
Wasn't it they don't have a soul or something? And
no, it's because silver was a pure metal, and mirrors, back when this whole thing was come up with, mirrors were backed on the back with silver, with like a silver film on them for reflectivity behind the glass, so they wouldn't reflect off of the pure metal of silver. And
so they should reflect in modern day mirrors, though.
And they'd have no problems on cameras or any of the other stuff because none of them have silver.
That makes sense.
And you know this how.
I could get into vampires now, but we're not going to have time. Oh, hey, what's that? That's an alert on... All right.
Is it a yellow alert?
We got PS Pro came out this week. The PS5 Pro.
Oh, God, yeah, that sucked balls.
$700 price tag. We've already decided it's not happening in this household.
$700 and no optical drive.
Yeah, it's just not worth it. Sorry guys, iPhone 16 came out this week with the AI feature in it. $799, and I gotta say, the AI features were fucking awesome.
They are, and a lot are also available on the new Pixel and the new Samsung as well. A lot of the stuff that Apple is putting out there, others have already... Apple's doing that thing where they wait for other people to come out with stuff, then they go, ooh, look, we did it, so it's cool.
Oh, man, I would love to go, but we'll hit on some of those features next week, probably, because Marvel Knights announcement. So we are getting the Marvel Knights, which they've announced this, I don't know how many times before, but we're going to get our, Daredevil, Moon Knight, Iron Fist, Punisher, all that in the street level series.
Are they going to use the same Moon Knight actor?
Yep. It's all the same.
I hope so, but they need to unfuck Iron Fist.
Yeah, and they're working on it because he was the last person to get hired back. The Daniel Rand character that
because Jessica Jones was great. Nick, you know, who was the black guy?
Luke Cage.
Luke Cage. Yeah, I was thinking Nick
great.
Cage.
I enjoyed
it. Daredevil, of course, great.
Yeah.
All right. Iron Fist, a hot pile of shit.
And it sucks because that was one of my son's favorite characters. I mean, he's got that's one where he's got like first appearance and all the critical. Yeah. And then the series came out, it's kind of like, I just don't like this version. And he just kind of barely even talks about Iron Fist at all anymore.
The only good scene with Iron Fist was in the diner, in the Chinese diner, when he was with everybody else.
Well, when him and Nick Cage were talking, or Nick Cage, him and Luke Cage.
See? Yeah.
In fairness, Nick Cage is named after Luke Cage.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's where he got his name, actually, because he's Nicholas Coppola from Francis Ford Coppola's nephew. He named himself after Luke Cage, the comic book character.
Oh, yeah.
So, anyhow.
As you do.
Yeah, the scene with them two talking, because that banter between them, that's them. Yeah, but
yeah.
Video game news we can hit. We got Space Marine 2 leaks came out. We got the game that they just canceled, but we'll hit that stuff next week. We should jump on Minecraft because we're an hour in.
Yeah. Okay. Let me go ahead and share this up and screen Minecraft share. We're ready to rock and or roll.
All right.
Step right this way.
What the hell?
Anything you can dream about here, you can make.
Oh, hell yeah.
I am Steve.
Okay.
This guy is such a tool bag.
Wow, that actually looks like something I might watch. And I hate Minecraft.
It's the second trailer out, and it's getting ripped apart.
Oh,
Okay.
I think it's hilarious.
How can you rip apart something that has no lore?
Oh, it has lore. Minecraft's got huge lore. Minecraft's huge, dude.
I know Minecraft is huge, but okay, Borderlands, that has a near and dear storyline that you can fuck up.
There are storylines within Minecraft.
There are blocks in Minecraft. I mean,
but that's not even what people are tearing apart. Like, and I gotta say, I think people are going too far with.
You told me about it. People are nitpicking bullcrap.
Yeah, like the size of the blocks. They're like, oh, well, the size of that block standing next to Jack Black's character. Jack Black should be 9 foot 2 inches tall. Therefore, this whole movie is shit. And it's like, holy shit, dude.
Because we talked about this when we were at the winery this weekend.
Right.
My theory is that people have become spoiled.
Uh-huh.
All right. When we were young, the simple fact that they made a movie
exactly
that was geeky. Well, you know, I mean, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, the original movie. I mean, all the stuff like that. It was amazing that they were even pandering to us. Now, if they put something together, people are just like, it's not good enough for me. And you know what? You're spoiled. You need to be without for a decade, and then you will appreciate shit again.
it's just like it's always that right after thing. Like Sonic came out and then Mario came out. And
Okay,
again,
they were
I
right
love
on
these
Sonic.
movies.
They were
Huh?
right on Sonic. That
Yeah,
Sonic
they
was
were right
fucking
on
demon
Sonic.
spawn.
And it's good they redid it because now there's a trilogy, a spin-off series, all sorts of shit. But the Mario, they picked that apart, and I loved the Mario movie. I thought it was absolutely great, the animated one.
Yeah.
Then this, with Jack Black having just been in Borderlands, and Christy and I both loved the trailer for Borderlands. Gabe and Diego telling us how bad it's going to suck. The internet's telling us how bad it's going to suck. I went into it with this open mind of, I love these actors. I love this property. They can't fuck it up too much. I was wrong. But, because the story was fucking bonker shit.
I mean, I've never said that I enjoy seeing the joy of life leave your eyes, but if you thought Borderlands was good, I was going to enjoy seeing the light of joy leave your eyes.
I wanted it to be good, and I like Jamie Lee Curtis, I'm all on board with, and all that. Jack Black, I'm on board with, and I think Jack Black's got a little of that right now, a little of the hate coming his way from that, and him being in this now, and then even Momoa, people are picking him apart because of how androgynous or whatever his character looks with the bangs and the pink jacket, and it's like, man, they haven't even explained it. Perhaps we should wait and see why he's dressed that way before we start ridiculing the DEI or any of that stuff, you know?
The problem with social media and the internet today is that the minority that complain can be well overheard from the majority that likes it.
Well, it's not even...
And they don't say nothing.
Well, yeah, they don't say nothing, and plus there is this huge thing that the media does that, you know, if it bleeds, it leaves. If it's loud and annoying, we're going to put it up there to get as much reaction as we can. It's like when they put things up that, you know, they just get one little thing wrong on because they know that people are going to pile on in the comment section just to tell you how you got that one thing wrong, which means that's going to drive the algorithm that your stuff is popular, because it has to be popular because people are commenting on it. No, they're feeding off of that whole human psyche thing where we want to prove to people that they're wrong, all right, and we want to see the train wreck. Well, and that's what they're doing.
It's become, and I agree with that 100%. It's kind of become a popularity contest, though, because there's kind of like I mentioned Big Bang Theory fucking stuff up earlier. Great show. Love the show. Some of the geek lore is off. Some of it's spot on. But like Ryan Reynolds, even in Deadpool, there was some shit that wasn't correct in that. And nobody gives a shit because it's Ryan Reynolds and he did so much shit right. But boy, you take somebody who's like Henry Cavill, he can do shit wrong and people will love it. Well, I don't know. Now people are already coming down on the retconning the damn it. They had the females into the Space Marines and stuff.
Oh,
yeah.
Yep.
So, and they say they're doing that for the DEI of the series, and so people are coming at it a little bit, but
on Halo?
No,
40K.
40K. The 40K series that Henry Cavill's doing.
Well, at first
I know.
There were female Space Marines in the original 40K book. You could have female Space Marines, you know, like the Sisters of Sin,
right?
Which then became, the Sisters of Silence and all those, the Sister Sororitas. Then it became a totally separate thing than the Space Marines. And then there were no female Space Marines.
But the idea that I was getting at, though, is just that if you're popular enough and you fuck something up like this, it's okay. If not, it's like you're under the microscope immediately. So like Robert Downey Jr. coming back as Dr. Doom. It's okay. Everybody loves Robert Downey Jr. You know, it's going to be so far off source material, but it's okay. But man, like this right now, people are coming at it hard, and that's because Jack Black's already been taking hits, I feel. You know, between that, the Tenacious D touring cancel and stuff like that.
No, I think he'll be fine. I mean, it's Jack Black. Everybody loves Jack Black. All right. He just has to realize, like Samuel L. Jackson had to realize, is that just because somebody offers you a part doesn't mean you have to take it.
Yeah. But I mean, you guys got to look at the people who play Roblox. The bar is not set too high on these motherfuckers.
No.
Minecraft. The bar's not set too high on these motherfuckers.
My
It's
15-year-old has aged out of it.
A minority of, huh?
My 15-year-old has aged out of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, the people who actually play it, I mean, if they don't give a fuck about graphics, they're not going to give a fuck about the movie.
Well, my kids have aged out of it too. They still have an opinion, though. It's just like us. Like, they made a Thundercats movie right now, I would have a fucking opinion. I don't want to say I've aged out of Thundercats, but, you know, I don't go back and watch it on a regular basis, but I would definitely have an opinion on it. So there's going to be a ton of people.
As a child, watching my first episode of Thundercats, I aged out of it right then.
Oh,
right.
Really?
I'm sorry to hear that. That's
sorry.
what's the matter with you, man.
So should we talk Thundercats? Do you know the lore? Do you know the storyline? Do you appreciate the storytelling within that series? Or do you just watch one episode and said, fuck, it didn't grab my testicles, I'm good?
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay.
Hey, have you seen the weight loss photos of Dave Bautista?
Yes.
I'm going to put it up really quick.
He is still, like, he looks like he is sick almost. He's still 240 pounds there.
Yeah.
You're like 245 pounds. So
Holy
he's still
cow.
It looks like he's small compared to what he was, but he's still a good sized dude, man.
He still weighs as much as my fat ass. All right?
Yeah.
He's just slimmed down. And he just said he just wanted to, you know, he's maintained that huge musculature for so long. He just wanted to slim down to a nice, you know, slimmer feature. And that's what he did. He lost.
What you're saying is he gave up steroids.
I don't know.
I don't know if he gave them up or if he's just, you know, like, you know, cut back on the steroids, you know, to just a nice prednisone level.
I mean, he's gone to where he's an actor now. That keeping up that kind of physique takes a lot of fucking work. Even when like Chris Hemsworth does it to play Thor, as soon as he's done, he doesn't keep that kind of regimen up.
No.
I mean, a lot of people do keep fit and stuff, but man, I can see him going, I'm a good actor. I've gotten awards for being an actor. I've done well. I'm going to move on with this part of my life. He's in his 50s now. I think he's 55.
Yeah, he's older than us.
Yeah.
And he could still whip our ass, too.
Yeah.
Wholeheartedly. All of us, we wouldn't even have to come at him one at a time. He'd line us up like a Three Stooges bit and just bitch slap us.
My problem is there's a lot of action heroes that get hired specifically on physique. And Batista, he had a certain personality about him that was different than others. I like that. Just like John Cena, he's got the comedy chops. He's still fucking big. And so if all of a sudden Cena wasn't big anymore, it would be different. Because some of that humor comes from big guy, witty personality. Batista,
I don't know. His jaw is so big. I swear, if he lost all the weight, he would look like frickin' Quagmire. All right?
I probably would. Yeah, that's one I would. Although that's another one I watched. I watched Jackpot this week or last week with John Cena too, which was worth watching.
You know, John Cena, ever since he's broke away from wrestling, I think he's fucking hilarious, man.
He's great.
We were pushing on here when we're talking about casting for Shazam. We really want him to be cast as Shazam.
Yeah,
we didn't think people were giving him a fair chance on some of the movie roles he was getting.
As a wrestler, I thought this is an arrogant fuckstick, but that's just the role he was playing. And he can play some really funny roles. He's a good actor.
Role? Like,
in wrestling?
They're not acting on wrestling, are they?
Oh, I guess not.
Oh, hell yeah, they are. They are great actors.
Okay.
All right, you do not take away their acting abilities. Those people, and not only that, but they will get up there, entertain an entire auditorium, and do, staying within the confines of the storyline, do ad-lib and do extempore stuff for 45 minutes to an hour and keep an entire auditorium enthralled. They are all really good actors. Do not take that away from them.
I was just joking on the... I used to watch a lot of wrestling.
No, I hate wrestling. I will not watch it, but I will give them all the props they deserve.
Yeah. I have a hard time watching it anymore. A lot of my favorite wrestlers kind of went away and stuff, but very much so. I will give wrestlers credit where credit's due. And then on top of that, then they beat the shit out of themselves. They do all the
the physical stuff.
They do all the sideshow performers.
And then they are so good that make it believable that midgets beat them up. That's some
Wait,
good
what?
acting right there.
You're saying the midgets get? Oh man, you made me use the N word now. I feel bad. All right. No, that's
John, that was kind of a low shot, dude.
no, but let's keep this short and move on, guys.
I think he's got you stumped.
All right, guys, enough small talk. Let's get this on.
He's getting a little short with us.
You know that moment you knew you were
Peter
canceled.
Dinklage is doing backflips.
No, that's been our goal. Poor Shelley at Rivers Aunts has been trying to get a
midget.
There's a dwarf jousting group, and then she's trying to get dwarf. Yeah, and yeah, you want to watch it, don't you? I said the words, you immediately go, I'm interested.
I am already trying to figure out how much the tickets cost.
Yeah, and then there's also we've tried to get the dwarf wrestling in there too, and it that's just something that I think would be great fun.
You know what?
And
If they want,
oh my goodness,
nobody forces them to do it, and if they can make a better living doing that than I make right now, go for it, motherfucker. Well,
remember Heavy Metal Combat?
Yeah.
If they did that with all midgets, they could call it Baby Metal Combat.
Now we're back to being canceled. All right. we need to tie this up. It's about supper time, and
yeah, I need to as well.
Having that said, I did not bring my list of festivals in. We got Great Plains coming up. We got Rivers Aunts coming up this weekend. We got a Ghostbuster event in Iowa. I will be posting this stuff up on my page. The newest thing for us is Cookie called an old friend this week, and the conversation just rolled into, I guess, where Scallywag.
Where's my money? Yeah.
No. We'll be performing the.
It's not your kid, Tim. Yeah.
The final weekend at the Kansas City Ren Fair this year. We haven't been doing Kansas City for years because we're always doing their events, and the way the dates fell up, and they actually asked us back for numerous weekends, and we just weren't able to do it, but we can do the final weekend. So for anybody who watches or listens to this that knows the WAGs and are in the area, final weekend at Kansas City Ren Fair, we will be there doing shows for all 3 days. So
most excellent.
That's it. So having that said, I'm done.
You know, Daryl, that's close enough. You could go.
I could. There's lots of things I could do.
You
anyway,
should.
I don't even go and do stuff at our own festival, dude.
You do. You go so wine at our own festival at Great Plains Ren Festival.
And,
last
and I wear a T-shirt that says, "This is my Ren's Fair costume." All right, because I'm the asshole.
That's how far removed he's got. It's a costume now. It's not garb anymore. We call it garb to feel like we're not just playing dress up.
Well, the shirt didn't say garb. The shirt said costume. I was being literal, dude.
I know, and I was being picky. So, all right.
You're being a John. I understand.
I know. I'm trying to work my way up to being a Daryl, but I don't have that big of an asshole.
You're too midget short for that. Yeah.
All right. That's it. Good night, guys. Hugs and kisses.
We'll
see you next week.
Next week. Let's do this again.
This one, man.
All right, bye.
Bye.
Okay, I got her shut down.